Alright, let's dive into something that's been blowing up on social media lately, Carrie Underwood's return to the Sunday Night Football anthem. Now, I know what you're thinking, another year, another Carrie Underwood performance. But personally, I think there's a lot more to unpack here than just the announcement itself. What makes this really interesting is how divided the reactions have been. On one hand, you've got fans who are absolutely thrilled, like, she's the voice of Sunday nights, kind of thrilled. But then, there's this other camp pushing for a change, suggesting names like Ella Langley. And that's where it gets fascinating. First off, let's talk about Carrie's legacy with this anthem. She's been doing it since 2013, and in that time, she's become synonymous with primetime NFL. I mean, when you hear that opening riff, you instantly think football, right? But here's the thing, 14 years is a long time. In my opinion, it's natural for people to start wondering if it's time to pass the torch. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about the music, it's about branding. Carrie's voice has become part of the NFL's identity, and changing that could feel like shaking up a tradition. But traditions evolve, right? So, is this just nostalgia talking, or is there a real case for fresh talent? Now, let's talk about the Ella Langley crowd. I get it, there's this push for diversity and new voices, especially in a genre like country music that's been criticized for its lack of representation. But here's where I think people might be missing the point. Carrie Underwood isn't just a country star, she's a crossover phenomenon. She's got the rock edge, the powerhouse vocals, and the mainstream appeal. NBC isn't just hiring a singer, they're hiring a brand. So, while Ella Langley is incredibly talented, does she have that same level of recognition yet? Probably not. But this raises a deeper question. Should the NFL be more proactive in showcasing up-and-coming artists, or is it better to stick with what works? Another detail I find fascinating is the production update this year. NBC's going for a more rock-inspired feel, with scenes filmed in a studio, a small venue, and a packed stadium. Carrie described it as her rock star fever dream, which, honestly, sounds pretty epic. But what this really suggests is that even though she's been doing this for over a decade, she's not just phoning it in. She's evolving, trying new things, and keeping it fresh. That's something I think a lot of artists could learn from, how to stay relevant without losing what makes you iconic. If you take a step back and think about it, this whole situation is a microcosm of a bigger trend in entertainment. How long should one artist hold onto a gig? When is it time to make room for new talent? And how do you balance tradition with innovation? Personally, I think Carrie's return is a safe bet for NBC. She's a proven hit. But the calls for change are a reminder that audiences are always hungry for something new. Maybe the real question isn't whether Carrie should stay or go, but how the NFL can create more opportunities for diverse artists without sacrificing what works. So, what do you think? Is Carrie Underwood still the right voice for Sunday Night Football, or is it time for someone like Ella Langley to take the reins? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to hear your take. And hey, if you're enjoying this kind of deep dive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's always more to unpack in the world of pop culture, and I'd love to have you along for the ride.